Every single day, 114 people wake up before 3 in the morning, pull on their uniforms, and walk into 7 kitchens stacked inside a floating city the size of 3 football fields. By the time the rest of the ship opens its eyes, those 114 people have already produced enough hot food to serve a small American town. They will do it again at lunch, and again at dinner, and then again at midnight. What those people go through to earn that job, and what they have to do every single shift just to keep 5,000 sailors alive and combat ready, is one of the most underappreciated operational stories in the entire United States military. The floating city problem. An aircraft carrier is not a warship that happens to have a kitchen. It is a fully functioning city at sea, a city with no grocery stores, no restaurants, no delivery drivers, and no second chances. The U.S. Navy's Nimitz-class carriers, the backbone of American naval power, regularly deploy with crews between 5,000 and 5,680 personnel aboard. These men and women work around the clock in rotating shifts, burning calories at rates far above the average civilian. They cannot leave, they cannot order takeout, and the ship may not see a port for months. Someone has to feed all of them, every day, without fail, no matter where in the world the carrier happens to be. The operation that makes that possible starts not on the ship, but in a training facility buried inside a military base in Virginia, and what happens there is where this story truly begins. The scale is almost unbelievable. The number that stops most people cold is this one: 17,000 meals per day. Not per week, per day. A single U.S. Navy aircraft carrier produces 17,000 individual meals every 24 hours. To put that in a frame most people can grasp, that is the equivalent of feeding every person in a sold-out Madison Square Garden, then turning the entire crowd over and feeding them all again, and then doing it a third time before midnight. Every single day, at sea, with no outside help. Behind those 17,000 meals sits a daily consumption list that sounds like a catering invoice for a small city. 1,600 pounds of chicken, 2,000 pounds of hamburger, 2,000 pounds of steak, 1,000 pounds of potatoes, 350 pounds of lettuce, 1,000 gallons of milk, 20,000 cups of coffee every single day. And because this is a military vessel operating under strict readiness standards, every meal must meet precise caloric targets: 2,850 calories per day for male sailors, 2,100 for female sailors. Dietary restrictions, religious requirements, food allergies, all of it tracked, all of it accommodated in an industrial kitchen that sits inside a ship moving through open ocean. The grocery bill on the USS Gerald R. Ford, the Navy's newest and most advanced carrier, runs between $45,000 and $65,000 per day. That is more than $1 million worth of food consumed every single month on one ship. But none of that food gets cooked properly. None of it gets turned into something that keeps 5,000 people mission ready, without the people trained to do it. And their training is unlike anything in the civilian culinary world. Where Navy chefs are born, every culinary specialist in the U.S. Navy starts the same way any other sailor does, at Recruit Training Command in Great Lakes, Illinois. 10 weeks of boot camp building the military foundation. Then the moment that separates them from every other rating in the fleet, they ship out to the Joint Culinary Center of Excellence at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia, the same institution that trains Army cooks, the same place where the Department of Defense runs the largest American Culinary Federation sanctioned cooking competition in North America. It is not a casual assignment. The Culinary Specialist A School puts recruits through a 5-week intensive curriculum built around something called the Armed Forces Recipe Service, a standardized military recipe system where every single recipe is pre-calibrated to feed exactly 100 people. Not 8. Not 12. 100. A Navy cook does not learn how to make a pot of chicken soup. A Navy cook learns how to produce 100 servings of chicken soup with consistent taste, consistent texture, consistent temperature, and 0 food safety violations, and then they learn how to scale that up to 50 times that number. The training runs approximately 70% hands-on practical work and 30% written instruction and evaluation. Students learn knife skills, food storage science, bulk cooking mechanics, and the kind of inventory management that most civilian restaurant managers never deal with in their entire careers. What a carrier galley actually looks like. A carrier galley, the Navy's term for a shipboard kitchen, bears no resemblance to anything a civilian chef has ever worked in. The USS Harry S. Truman, a Nimitz-class carrier and one of the most studied examples of at-sea food service, runs 7 separate galleys distributed across the ship. Each galley serves a specific population. The enlisted crew eats in the general mess. Chief petty officers have their own mess. Officers eat in the wardroom. The commanding officer has a private galley. Each space operates on its own schedule, its own menu, and its own staffing team, all coordinated from a central supply department that tracks every pound of food on the ship. The equipment inside these galleys defies easy comparison to anything on land. Steam kettles capable of holding 80 gallons of liquid food, industrial dough mixers that handle 60 pounds of dough in a single batch, producing fresh bread for 5,000 people every morning. Ovens large enough that Navy crews have been known to describe them as walk-in sized. Deep fryers built on the scale of a small above-ground swimming pool. Griddles wide enough to lay out over 100 individual cuts of meat simultaneously. All of it bolted to the floor. All of it engineered to function when the ship rolls in heavy seas. Specialized restraining systems hold every pot and pan in place during rough weather. Non-slip mats and fixed handrails run the length of every cooking station. Carrying a pan of boiling liquid across a tilting floor is not a metaphor in a carrier galley, it is a daily operational reality. Breakfast preparation starts at 3 in the morning, 3 hours before the first watch rotation hits the mess deck. By the time the first meal service ends, the next preparation cycle has already begun. The galleys run in continuous overlapping shifts. There is no clean break between lunch prep and dinner service, no closing time, no night where the kitchen goes dark. The food production cycle on a carrier never stops, because the ship's watch rotation never stops. Sailors eat at all hours, and the galley has to be ready for all of them. The unrep and the math of survival. A carrier cannot carry unlimited food. The Nimitz-class ships maintain refrigerated and dry food storage capable of supporting a crew of 6,000 for approximately 70 days at maximum capacity. But carriers do not operate in isolation, and they do not wait until the shelves run empty. Every 7 to 10 days at sea, the carrier conducts an operation called an underway replenishment, unrep. A supply ship pulls alongside the carrier and matches its speed precisely. Both vessels move through the ocean in parallel at approximately 15 knots, roughly 17 miles per hour, while connected by cables stretched between them. Along those cables, between 400,000 and 700,000 pounds of food transfer from the supply ship to the carrier. Fresh produce that was sitting in a warehouse in a port city days earlier lands in a carrier galley within range of an active combat zone. The menu cycle that governs all of this runs on a 14 to 20 one-day rotation, long enough to avoid immediate repetition, short enough to maintain variety that keeps morale from eroding. Culinary specialists build themed meal nights into the rotation: Taco Tuesdays, Asian cuisine nights, Greek food nights, regional American dishes. These are not luxuries. Military nutritionists and command psychologists have long understood that food quality has a direct and measurable effect on operational readiness. A sailor who eats well sleeps better, performs better, and sustains focus longer on a 12-hour watch. The galley is not a support function on a carrier. It is a combat multiplier. The numbers bear that out. A single aircraft carrier accounts for nearly 20% of all meals served across the entire U.S. Navy fleet on any given day. Every ship, every base, every installation worldwide combined. That one vessel's food operation, staffed by 114 culinary specialists working 12 to 14-hour shifts, represents roughly 1/5 of everything the Navy feeds globally. And that operation runs every day of a 6 to 9 month deployment, in every sea state, in every operational tempo, without interruption. Closing. The next time a U.S. Navy carrier strike group moves into position somewhere in the world, and it is moving right now in multiple oceans, somewhere deep inside that ship, before the pilots brief their missions, and before the admirals review their orders, 114 people in white uniforms are already 3 hours into their shift. They are not making weapons. They are not flying jets. They are cooking. And in a very direct, very measurable sense, everything else that carrier does that day depends on what those 114 people produce in the dark before anyone else wakes up. The real question worth sitting with is this: when we study the history of American military power, the carriers, the jets, the weapon systems, how much of what made all of it possible was never a weapon at all? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this kind of buried operational story is what brings you back, the subscribe button is right there.